Hey, so my camera's I think stuck on in the other meeting or something like that. So
I probably should have turned my camera off because I'm sitting here baking in the sun because I'm out on the patio. But
I don't know exactly what to do. I don't want to restart my whole
no, you're
computer.
fine. You're fine.
Okay.
We could go like this.
Okay. Great.
You could probably still share your screen if you want to because you like to sometimes
Yeah.
talk about some of your things.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. So
Just see if I can...
what's up to my man Rashad in the chat? What's up to everybody out there? We're just getting things in here. Sheets. I don't know. I'm just gonna say right off the bat, I don't have a whole lot that's so different outside of the Boston. Having some interest in some of the Boston stuff, but that's pretty much the only thing that's really changed for me throughout the day. And even with the Boston stuff, no one is I don't feel like must play in this matchup. What worries me is that Pritchard could end up getting a lot of the extra run, like if they do blow him out. But without Jaylen Brown, obviously it's a bump to everybody. But I'm still other than maybe Derek White, maybe Peyton Pritchard, maybe Al Horford, maybe Robert Williams. I'm probably just sticking with the same guys we talked about earlier.
Yeah. So as usual, I was just so proud of myself that I just caught up and saw that Peyton Pritchard was even a play. So I just redid the projections and I was just going to look at them. One thing I will say about the Boston value and pretty much like all of this value, it's not as good as it was earlier today for some reason.
Yeah. We lost De'Aaron Fox wasn't supposed to play, and he's playing. That changes.
But even these Dallas guys, I mean, they don't look. Oh, that's FanDuel. Oh shoot, hold on, let me.
Yeah, FanDuel they got priced up.
Maybe it does look really good. Hold on, let's see.
Well, I mean,
so Hardy looks good, right? But
yeah, Hardy, and I like Green, but I don't think that anybody other than Hardy, and even Hardy, I don't think is a must play. There are ways that it blows up. It is kind of interesting that people aren't going to play the other guys at all. I mean, Christian Wood's going to get a little bit of ownership, but I don't think anybody's playing Tim Hardaway on DraftKings. I do think they'll play him on FanDuel because he's 5,200 over there. But yeah, it's not like a must-play situation. However, I could also make a case for Hardy, Green, Wood, and then running it back with like Markkanen or something like that.
Why is Stanley Johnson 25% owned and having a 6x projection?
I'm a little bit off on this thing. It's the Spurs thing that I tend to try to stay away from. It's the minimum cost thing of these guys who are just they have enough guys who are gonna play some minutes. Like let's see, they're projected to play what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 guys tonight. And he's now like a little bit in the rotation. He played his season high of minutes. I believe it was the other day.
Okay.
But I don't think I'm going to do that. I may end up deciding F it and I'll just pay up for Giannis. And I just think too many of these builds are going to include a lot, like the value. So I'm going to go with the ones who I think have the more upside. I've watched Stanley Johnson play 36 minutes in a game and have 5 fantasy points before. I haven't watched what's his name do it yet, so I'll let him burn me. Jaden Hardy. Yeah, and I still really like Sumner. I like Cam Thomas, who's going to be lower owned because I think people are trying to chalk it up to a fluke game, which it is to some extent what he just had. But there's also a reason to think he's going to get more playing time than he played, and he is a guy who's really aggressive. So I still like him. I still like the idea of getting to one of Watford or Eubanks. I'm playing with one big lineup on each site, and I've got them split up right now where I have Eubanks on DraftKings and Watford on FanDuel. But those are the guys who I'm sort of generally looking at as a whole. Guys, fire your questions, and that's sort of my outlook though. Is that, and then you're mixing in some of the Boston stuff in terms of the spend ups. I'll just throw out real quick the guys who I'm on. I still like Mitchell. I like the idea of playing one of Mitchell Garland. I'm a little bit more on the Mitchell side. All the early projections were kind of bonkers, as we know. They had Darius Garland projected for like 50 fantasy points. I have no idea why. But I like the idea of the Mitchell, Paul George, and then I like playing Giannis, and using the value that I just talked about.
You know what I kind of want to do? I kind of want to do what I said at the end, and play Giannis and play Lillard. That's what I want to do.
Okay. I support you in your endeavor.
I mean, a 45-50.
Let's say Lillard gets 60. Don't you think one of these guys in the 8K range comes at least close to that? Maybe not.
I don't know.
I mean, how is Lillard a better play than
Who's going
Sabonis?
to do that? I mean,
well, because like is Lillard really going to outscore Sabonis, Tatum, Shea? That seems unlikely. And then I think that you have the Levine, DeRozan, Jordan Poole. Obviously, is going to probably score 60 in himself. No, I'm just kidding. Paul George, Şengün, Mitchell, Levine. All these guys can get 60. That's my argument against the Lillard thing tonight. And that's why I'm not using that other second spend up. Because as much as I like Sabonis, I feel like one of these other guys gets to at least close enough where I don't need to use the second spend up. Does that make sense?
Let's try to rank this value here first. So I guess Hardy is the best of the value, I imagine.
Pritchard's going to be right there with him.
Oh, you think so?
Projection wise, yeah.
That answers my next question. I was going to say, who do you like more, Pritchard or Sumner?
Sumner, but they're different prices.
Right.
Yeah.
But these are all guards now. You know what I mean?
Like there's a lot of guards. There's a lot of guards tonight.
So if I played Sumner, I'm just trying to think of what lineups look like if you just played Lillard and Giannis. And then what? Like you think there's like these? I don't want to play Stanley Johnson. I mean, not really. I wouldn't mind playing Drew Eubanks though.
Eubanks or Watford.
Or Wofford or Olynyk.
Yeah, just don't do the thing where you get cute and the people do and play like Watford and Eubanks together.
I don't need to do that.
No, people do that though sometimes. And by the way, going back to a theme that we capitalized on early in the season and in the past, Josh Hart, when when Nurkic is out, he goes nuts every time. Why? Because he starts rebounding like crazy again. He's got 21 rebounds the last 2 games. Josh Hart is a great bet to go over the rebound prop, and I think he's actually a pretty good tournament play on both sides. On FanDuel, he's like a really good play, I think. I think he's a good play on DraftKings as well.
So you could play Olynyk as a forward too. So you could play Olynyk as a forward, and I'm trying to work through this here. Let me share my screen. Sorry about this. Hold on, me. Just looking at my share screen. I'm not going to share my lineup, but I'll share at least the projections here. I mean, I'm seeing. I like the Robert Williams idea. I think I can get to him.
Yeah, I think it's a really good tournament play. And I'm going to jump to some of the questions that people are asking because so let's see, Sumner or Thomas straight up from Brooklyn. I think the answer is Sumner because you have the minute security, but I do like Thomas's upside a ton. It's up to Nick and to MJ and Kenny G's asking about thoughts about Levine. I do like Levine for what it's worth on both sides. DeRozan has been great against the Spurs in the past, but mostly in San Antonio. He also was great before that against Toronto when he was in San Antonio. So DeRozan, I think, is an interesting play too. I have Levine and DeRozan as very close plays, and more on FanDuel than DraftKings. Sheets is blowing up.
It's my phone.
No, I know. That's what blowing up is.
Yeah. So you could play. My point is that you could play Lillard and Giannis if you want to easily. If that's what you want to do. But maybe you're right. Maybe you don't want to do that. Let me see. Who else can I play here? I could play.
Lillard's been amazing in all fairness. He's
so let's do something. Let's do something else. How about we talk about the Christian Wood?
Yeah, he's another one of those guys that it wouldn't surprise me if he had a monster game here. I worry about them in this game in general. And I'm a little worried that Wood ends up a little more popular than maybe people think. I think people are going to play him. And I think he's a good play. I like my other 8K guy ranges a little bit better. Maybe I'm I could see Christian Wood over like Paul George. That's fine. I just happen to like Paul George in this matchup. And I like the idea of getting a run back because I'm going to play Sumner and Cam Thomas together a lot. So I like just having a little run back there. And I think Nick Claxton, to answer the question, I think Nick Claxton's fine, but not making any of my lineups. Sheets, do you have any Nick Claxton?
No, but what about the other guy you mentioned? What about Walter Kessler?
Yeah, I think that's a really good tournament play. I mean, you're playing with fire with him every time. You might get the 20-minute game, you might get the 35-minute game with 50 fantasy points. You know, like so that's what that by definition makes him a good tournament play. But if I was going to play him, I would be trying to get to more stuff. If I was playing anybody on Utah, I'd be trying to get to at least 2, if not 3 pieces from Dallas. Like I would play Kessler in a lineup if I was playing Wood.
Who is that Hardy shooting guard?
I think it's very strange that without your top offensive initiators, like your top 4 for Brooklyn, that nobody's going to be that popular outside of Sumner. That just feels weird, doesn't it?
Feels like you want to play Cam Thomas for some reason.
I agree with that. I think because you have to find that other guy, right? Like, and it's not really Sumner either. Like, they need someone to initiate their offense. Like, Joe Harris is not a creator. TJ Warren could do it.
Could.
Patty Mills could do it. Those are but I'm not playing those guys. Those are just guys who could get in your way. Although it would, like, the least surprising thing in the world is like Patty Mills scores 30 real life points tonight. That would be the least surprising thing ever.
Right.
Beal is out apparently.
Who?
And so let's go back to Washington again because I didn't see that Beal was out, and we're gonna have to get some updates on some of that info.
I don't want to do that.
Guys, make sure to like if you're watching. I appreciate it. So what you got? No Beal and no Kuzma. Oh. Ugh.
That's rather annoying, right?
This is forcing me. Okay. So Avdia, yes, I'm in on Avdia. Okay.
I'll have to redo everything, right? Pretty much. Okay. Sigh. Okay.
I don't know how I feel about the rest of these guys. I think Avdia is my favorite. I think Monty Morris is fine. I think Porzingis is a tough matchup for him, but I mean, he's going to get plenty of opportunities. I think what I really like is Avdia. I think that's a priority for me now. I'm actually going to, while I'm here, turn that into a priority play on my thing. It's not going to let me. Favorite value play or overall play on Dallas from MJC. I'm going to check that out real quick.
I like Hardy, Christian Wood, and I like Hardaway.
Yeah, I think Hardaway's more in play for me on FanDuel just because the price is so cheap, but I totally agree with that. And I am going to play some Josh Green as well.
Well, look at all this. No, these projections have to update for Washington. This is not.
Joanne asked about the Patty Mills. The one thing I'd say though is, look, if I was playing 150 tonight, you can bet for sure I would have like 3% or 4% of Patty Mills.
We really have to play these. Some of the. I mean, but Beal and Kuzma, we got to play somebody, right? I mean.
Should we just be playing Patty Mills? Like, I'm starting to think about this one. What is his projection? Why is his projection so low?
He's starting?
He's projected to. I don't think Saber Sim is accounting for him starting, but I don't know if he'll start. So it's maybe a moot point.
Right.
I think that might actually be a better play than that could end up being chalky by the end of the day. So be careful. Why is Giannis so much? He's actually totally accurately priced in my opinion. I don't think Giannis could be any cheaper. The guy, let me just tell you something. His last 5 games, 70, 73, 62, 81, 77. I don't think K is enough. He should be He should be closer to 13.
Yeah, we'll
Sheets,
do
do you
it.
know the only player at least the only player I ever saw hit the 14K mark on DraftKings?
Who, Westbrook?
Yeah. Derek White. Yeah, Derek White is completely legitimately in play. Everybody on Boston looks all right. I don't feel like I love it for some reason. I'm good with both White and Pritchard. Not even together. I actually think you're probably okay. I'd like to see the starting lineup before I decided. Just remember though that Brogdon's going to end up playing a bunch of minutes if the game's even reasonably close, and Brogdon's in play as well, by the way. Basically, the whole roster for Boston looks decent, and I can't seem to decide which guys I actually want to play. I don't want to play. I'm not playing Tatum, but I do think he's completely fine. I actually think Tatum is a much better spend up than the other ones we talked about, Lillard and all them. I would much rather play Tatum, but I'm not going to. I've decided on my build. It's my spend ups. It's going to be Giannis, and then it's going to be some of these 8K guys. And I'm trying to fade Giannis on FanDuel, which I think actually works out okay. I think completely fading Brooklyn is an option. It's just not it's not for I'm going to try to guess the right guys. And I think between Sumner and I don't know what the hell's going on with the Cam Thomas projection. I think it's off. I really do. He's a really good fantasy point per minute producer. He just played at a season high of minutes, put up 59 fantasy points. And I'm not saying he's going to do that again. He doesn't need to do that. 30 and you're happy.
Right.
I think Olynyk is fine, but in my honest opinion, Olynyk is being over projected. You just look at the trend. He missed a ton of games. Since then, he did have the 29 minutes, which everyone's assuming that he'll go right back to, and he might. But he played 19 minutes and 15 minutes the games before because he was kind of just getting back into it. But it's not like they have a lot of bodies. There's going to be a lot of Jared Vanderbilt. There's going to be a lot of Colin Sexton, a lot of Malik Beasley off the bench. They're going to play Agbaji a bunch of minutes because they always do. And then you've got your starters. So I don't know. I don't know how Olynyk is going to fit in. I think that it wouldn't surprise me if he played 22 minutes. It wouldn't surprise me if he played 34. So I think he's based on that, a good tournament play. But because of his over projection, I wouldn't be trying to get heavily invested in him just because I think, at least last time I checked, people were playing him. Yeah, at 20 some odd % ownership for a guy who literally hasn't had a 25 fantasy point game in however many months.
Yeah.
But it's because he was out, But even before that, it wasn't like he was a lock to get to 25 then.
Right.
So maybe a little over projection. Now, can he smash it? What's cool about him is he's at 41. He can put up 35, but if we give up more. But I'm a little lower on it maybe than the field is. I see no reason to play Kendrick Nunn today. Actually, hold on. Let me rephrase that because I did that without Beal. I actually think Kendrick Nunn is an okay tournament play. Yeah. I think I would rather play Nunn than Kispert. Kispert just played 36 minutes and put up 19 fantasy points. Ugh.
I don't want to play Kispert.
But there's no Kuzma and there's no Beal.
Yeah, but has he ever scored more than 20 fantasy points?
It feels like he never has.
It's possible he has, but
Branham or Sumner. As much as I actually do like Branham as a player, I think I'm still on the Sumner side of it. But I am surprised that I didn't talk a little bit more about Branham, and I think he's a really good play. I just didn't mention him before. Sheets in your projections. I'm guessing he looks pretty good.
I didn't really get to any Branham, I don't think.
Why is his projection so low, though?
I don't know.
So he's projecting to play 33 minutes. He's 4,500. We don't really know him as his role in general, but he's played the 2 times.
Is he the one that's going to suffer all the Stanley Johnson steam?
He put up 32 and 35 fantasy points the last 2 games. And you have a plus matchup. If you're going to get those 33 minutes, 34 minutes like he's projected, now he shot the ball really well. He's probably not going to shoot the ball that well again. The usage is still not incredible. it's definitely Sumner between those two, but I think Branham is actually in play. I just don't think it's like there's just so many good guards. It's kind of hard for me to get to him, I guess.
Right. Yeah, they still haven't updated much on the Washington, I think. Unless this is what we have. I mean,
what do we got for? So I'm taking a quick look.
oh, there they all go a little bit. Okay. Avi's got to get more than 30 fantasy points.
Even that's pretty good though as a baseline.
Oh wait, hold on a minute. So Porzingis is in.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's not like they have no players. Okay, I just thought like the
No,
whole
Kuzma and
country
Beal.
was out. Okay. Yeah, no Beal and Kuzma. Okay, this is fine. Okay.
Yeah, I think Nunn is actually going to look like a pretty decent play, and I don't mind it. They did trade for him. I don't mind it at all. I think I like Nunn. I think I like Nunn better than I like Kispert. And it is weird though. Like it feels like more guys should be played from this team, and sneaky play from that one would be DeLon Wright.
What are you going to do with
Problem is Nunn gets in the way of Wright. Ugh. What am I going to do
with Nicolina?
Nothing.
Yeah, I'm not either.
That's not true. I'll probably end up with one or two lineups with him in there. Beware that he starts, by the way, guys. Like, there's no guarantee that he starts.
There what?
There's no guarantee that like Nicolina starts.
Okay.
Anything on TJ Warren? So let's hear if TJ Warren's in first, and then I think TJ Warren does make for that great kind of like large field tournament. But we have a lot of them though today. Like, I don't think he's better than some of the other value we talked about. But there's an outside chance that he's astoundingly better than all the value we talked about.
Right.
But he hasn't played in a season where he's been banged up. I don't know that they're going to just let him roll. Maybe they would, though, because they now have his role is going to be diminished because of the trade. Huh. This might be let's see if he can go out there and have like just like a game or something, kind of a game. Patty Mills and TJ Warren bringing it home.
I mean, I've played worse plays than that.
Me too. I'm not interested in Gafford particularly now. As everybody knows, I always I am a sucker for Gafford a lot of the time. I don't see a real reason other than you could argue that he's got a higher minute ceiling because of the matchup. I don't see a real reason to play him on the worst matchup in basketball.
Right.
Other than you could argue maybe for a couple extra minutes. And even that, I don't think they'll do. Eubanks or Watford, that's the question. I've literally got them split down the middle. I think Watford is a little bit easier to play on DraftKings because he's forward eligible. But I think I'm more afraid of missing Eubanks than I am missing Watford. Because Eubanks I could see. I mean, I just think he gets to like Watford wouldn't surprise me if he gets to 30. Eubanks doesn't surprise me if he gets to 40.
Right.
Yeah, nobody's getting on the Cam Thomas thing. Norman Powell, I have no idea where that play would come from. I'm trying to see why Norman Powell would be a thing tonight.
I don't either. I have no idea at all.
Yeah, he's been taking a lot of shots, I'll tell you that. No, I'm not playing Norman Powell, but he is, for his price, he's not he's better than I thought he was going to be. I would rather play Josh Hart personally at 5,900 than Powell. What centers do I like? So on DraftKings, I have Eubanks. I have some Watford even in my center spot. I guess I don't like as many centers tonight as I was. You always feel like it. I like Mobley. I like Robert Williams. I have a couple Giannis's in there. I have a couple Horfords. They're forward eligible too. So I guess I don't really need to. You don't really need the eligibility thing as much with Watford on tonight's slate as I maybe made it seem like. I think Barton, that's another one of those just wild flyers, the Will Barton. And the Will stands for, will he get any minutes at all? But they added pieces since we've had any situation like this. And the game he had a while back against his former team wasn't it? Yeah, it was. Yeah, there's that 2-game stretch, and that was with like everybody out. But I'm not getting to Barton. Shaden Sharp for the Nets. I mean, that's why That's why the Nets aren't going to be higher owned, because no one can really figure out who to play. I mean, sorry, Day'Ron Sharp, not Shaden Sharp. Excuse me. Day'Ron Sharp. It's just a wild card play to me. I don't think it's not like Day'Ron Sharp's getting a boost because Kyrie's out. If TJ Warren's out again, that might be a story. That might be a little bit better of a play, but not for me.
The hell.
All right, I got to run in about 4 minutes, and I'll be in Discord all night answering questions and all that stuff. But I need to finish my lineups. What are you running there, Sheets? You running the projections?
No, I just started updating lineups and it screwed up. Annoying. Yeah, I guess I better get out of here too then.
He's got a few minutes here still. We will, and to answer the question, we will do a Super Bowl preview show. I don't know if we'll do it live the same game day, but if everybody wants to, I'm down.
I have literally no plans for the Super Bowl, so I'm around.
You're what?
I have no plans at all for the Super Bowl. So
oh, really?
Yeah, nothing.
I thought you did for some reason. I don't remember. No, why.
Nope, just don't. You want to play the Stanley Johnson character?
Nope.
No, I don't want to play him. Why do I want to do that?
Now, if no one else plays him, maybe I'll play him. But
I don't know that beforehand, though.
Like, why is it Stanley Johnson and why isn't it Doug McDermott? Like,
for example,
tell me the difference. Except for that McDermott can actually shoot the ball. You know what is weird though? It is like should be sort of a show me game for like a guy like Podol. Like
okay.
He's supposed to be traded the next 4 days. They're playing it's a good matchup against Chicago. He's put up 36 and 40 his last 2 games, 5,900 on DraftKings. Put up 37 2 games before that. The minutes have been in flux, but like this might be a time where he plays more minutes. That's kind of an interesting play. I might go back to that Podol.
Over Kessler?
Ooh. That's the problem.
Between the two of them, they're going to be 5% owned, I think.
I know. They're neither going to be owned at all. They're both good plays. I mean, those are really good tournament plays. There's a lot of good tournament plays tonight. Play Bay. Joanne says play Bay from Detroit. Why would we play Bay from Detroit tonight? He is...
Hey, he's a good play sometimes.
he's been good lately. Like that's really all you got going for him, though. I mean, shooting the ball at an elite level right now. Like, I don't really know how to play him off the bench at 5,800. I don't think it's the worst idea though. Josh Richardson or Draymond? How does that question come about?
I like Josh Richardson tonight.
How are they both like? But they're what 2K different in price, different positions.
Last man in.
I have no idea how there's a decision between those two guys, right?
Last man in between those two. That's what I'm
5,500 now. Jesus, I don't think I can do it to myself and play Richardson 5,500. I don't think he's a bad play though. I mean, like they have without Trey Jones, you can't really argue that any of these Branham, Richardson, or any of them are bad plays. I actually think Branham is a decent play, and I think Podol's a decent play. It's a really good slate. There's a lot of good plays, but the problem is, I mean, I told you guys I'm playing, and now everybody else we're talking about is just the ones other people do. Yeah, please hit the like button, guys. Thanks a lot, man. I appreciate it, point blank, and I appreciate all you guys. I think we're gonna get out of here pretty soon. Sheets, is that right?
Yep.
All right. Good luck tonight, Sheets, and we'll see you guys at the top of the leaderboard.
Yep.